Ralph Borelli's dream was to have a museum where people could come see the veterans' stories. There are museums around where, yeah, there's a room full of artifacts, but we concentrate and we really drill down on the story of the veteran. So in 5 years, which we are coming up on our 5th year anniversary on April the 12th, we've already outgrown the building. So to reach more veterans, to become a Mid-America attraction, we needed to change the name so that we can expand the museum into the new building that we're hoping to get into in the next 5 years or so.
When a person comes to this museum and they see the people who have served, see the places where they've served, and they recount the history of that service, and you see some of the personal memorabilia that they have here, it actually just makes you sit down and think. You kind of put yourself in that spot, and you want to bring other people in. You want other people to come and see what you've seen, and so that when you say thanks for your service, you have a basis for that, rather than repeating what someone told you, what you heard someone else say.
You know, what strikes me out about the museum is I didn't know it existed until about 2.5 years ago. And it's basically my backyard where I grew up. So from the first time I came here and I got to walk through the museum, I got, the tour that everybody else would get coming here. A lot of these stories just hit you in different ways. A lot of memories of my grandpa who served in Korea, in the Forgotten War, and then all the way to Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom. And just seeing all the similar stories of what me and what I experienced, and also those of my comrades experienced, and those were the ones that hit home. So the St. Charles County Veterans Museum, from what we hear, is not only volunteers and from the museum board ourselves, everybody thinks we're associated with St. Charles County and that we're a public entity. So what that leads people to believe is, one, we're publicly financed, which we're not. We are a non-for-profit organization. And the other part of that is everybody outside of St. Charles County, they don't know much about the museum, right? We're trying to get name recognition out now. But when you have St. Charles County included in it, everybody thinks it's solely for St. Charles County veterans, and it's not. So we rebranded the Mid-America Veterans Museum. As you know, we're looking to build about a 15,000 square foot facility in O'Fallon. And the reason for the name change is to draw all those veterans around the Midwest with similar stories, bringing their stories to us and throughout the country. But ideally with the opportunity of being right off Highway 70 and Bryan Road with extremely high publicity and in the view of millions of travelers, we really want this to be a place that veterans throughout the country can come to and their families and their loved ones and see their stories, hear their stories, and become a place that's a regional attraction.
So when the mayor proposed to us that we could have that land in front of the Justice Center for that wonderful $1 a year lifetime lease, but we would just have to come up with a new building, part of me was like, super cool. And then the other part of me was like, oh my God, how are we going to do that? So as terrifying as it is, it's just going to broaden our reach in so many different ways. I can bring some homeschool kids in here now and I can give them a tour, but I can't bring a busload of kids in. So when we're in the new museum, we'll have a curriculum, that will actually go along with the Missouri curriculum standards for education. And it'll be a supplement that teachers will be able to come in and bring their kids in here, and we can teach them about things, that happened in our past. Another huge component that I'm really excited about is that we'll become a veteran hub. And what I mean by that is, right now we've got a back office that we've got a VSO, a veteran service officer, who works for Missouri in the VA. He's here 2 days a month. That's it. When we have our new building, we'll have a dedicated office for him. So people can come in to the museum, sit down with the veteran service officer and start doing all of their VA paperwork, getting a lot of those questions answered. We've connected with a lot of veteran-owned businesses and veteran-owned business organizations. We've got a group that networks, and we want to be able to help veteran-owned businesses succeed in our area. So being able to connect that person that wants to start their own business with a coach, a veteran coach that can help them out, will be huge. The trauma aspects of it, whether it's grief, we'll have an area that we can offer counseling to people, you know, whether it's a veteran or a member of a veteran family. All of those aspects are just huge that the new building is going to be able to offer us. And the amount of help that we'll be able to give veterans, veteran families, and the amount of education that we'll be able to promote and bring out there about what really has happened will just, again, just be life-changing for so many people.